Janine Martins. I'm with Resonate Within. I'm hoping that, sorry, I'm being silly, but, well, actually, I'm not sorry I'm being silly. I'm just being very silly because I keep recording and looking at the spot other than where I'm supposed to look, to be looking truly at people who are listening. So hopefully I'm doing it today. I'm trying my best, but I feel like it's kind of funny for me. I'm just looking, I feel like I said this last time. Well, actually I said it in a video that I didn't post yet. I did a grief piece and it was really significant for me, and I didn't post it yet. I don't know if it'll come out before this one or after this one. But I said, I felt like I was looking into a void because there's literally this little camera lens is so small, and truthfully the light behind the camera lens is so bright that I can't see the lens, so I have to imagine it. So it's almost like it's a void. It's a void. To me, it represents the great unknown. You know, that's the whole thing about the Lynn V. Andrews Mystery School. Not just her mystery school, but any mystery school would probably talk about the void and the unknown and needing to be witness to it and trusting the process. And so I'm trying to trust the process. But I do feel a little bit like a fish out of water. It's like you're talking to someone, but then there's not really anybody there. And you don't know if you're just talking to a blank space. That's how it feels for me in recording these videos. Okay, so today what I wanted to do, and I took my glasses off because the light is so bright. It's just so bright that I can't even, every time that I look up, I've got the circles in my eyes. It's kind of comical, actually. It's kind of funny. So what I wanted to do is I have the power deck from Lynn Andrews. It's part of the program that I was in, a 4-year program, and I use these cards every day. Okay, I used them in my schooling. It was part of my schooling, and then I continue to use them now because they're so beneficial. They're so beneficial. And so what I thought was, I'm going to set the intention to call in divinity. You know, I've already done this outside of this, you know, video, but just drop into my center, just below my belly button. I place a power, and I feel centered. I feel like very collected. I was a little afraid, you know, a little bit like going a little wild. Look, even my words can't come out. A little bit untethered, I would call it. You know, I wasn't in my center, so feeling like there's a lot of information coming in, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to corral the energy when there's not much coming in. Plus, we just had the full moon on Monday. Today is Wednesday after the full moon, and so I think that the energies are still impacting me. But if I breathe and go down to my center, I feel more collected, and I feel a little bit more cohesive is the word that I hear for myself. Okay, so you might call it something else, but for me it feels grounded, and I feel less frazzled. And I don't know if that's the best word to describe the energy around me sometimes, but sometimes there's so much information coming in. It's really hard for me to not get caught up in, I feel something and then I follow that, and then I get something else and I follow that impulse. And so I'm not doing that right now. I'm staying in my center. And it has a particular energy that maybe you can feel. You know, what, from the difference from when I first started recording this, that you started watching, to now, maybe you can sense or feel. And if you don't, maybe you could tap into that. Maybe that could be one of the things that you could do, or to recognize, or to see if you are noticing it. For me, it feels very inside, internally. For me, it feels like I went from being, I will describe it as a buzzing bee, bzz, 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 to, okay, all right, we're still buzzing with ideas, but they're more streamlined, and they're like a little bit more like the eye of the storm, not the storm around it. Anyways, I'm shuffling the cards as we're talking, or as I'm talking. Divinity is going to give me a card that is the relevant card for today, for the message that they want me to tap into and talk about. So this is what I do. Well, I mean, it's part of what I do. Truthfully, if I described myself, I would say I do channel messages, but I think I'm still discovering that, first of all, because I'd be like, it'd be pretentious and ridiculous for me to say, and egoic for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm a such and such and such and such. I'm always trying to figure out what is it that I do. And divinity always tells me, there's no description really. It's not. I'm still discovering, I'm still becoming. That's my life path, is I'm still becoming. And I would like to say we're probably all becoming something, which means our more authentic self, whatever that is. And maybe some of us are on a healing path that's very specific. And then some people might be on a healing path that's a little different, so I don't know. I can only speak to my truth and what I'm experiencing. So I would say that what I try to do, and I do my work and assist people or myself in my healing, is I set my prayer, my intention, I connect with divinity, and then I ask to be a clear vessel for healing. Let the messages come through as they need to. Let me be guided to the information that I need. Maybe a person. I just leave it open. I just say, I'm willing to work with you, and you can use me to relay messages, give me insights. So sometimes it might be, I might do automatic writing. Sometimes I might meditate, and then I write something after I meditate, and messages come through that, I wasn't really thinking about. It's just message comes through about maybe something I'm experiencing, somebody else is experiencing. I don't know. I don't try to interpret it, truthfully. I try to be present. So I might show up for different people in different ways. Somebody might say, oh yeah, Janine did this session with me, and oh wow. They might say, Janine did the session with me, and we did sound healing. I do sound healing. I have crystal alchemy bowls. I have a whole big thing, vocal toning, and I love it. And then another person might say, oh no, we did something different. We cleared beliefs and old thoughts. And another person might say, well, we did some family constellation work. And it just, that oh wow for me, when I was just talking about this, reminded me, wow, this is really admitting a lot about myself. So years ago, I went to therapy for on and off for a long time. I had a lot of issues to work through, PTSD, social anxiety. I mean, many people have these things. So I remember going to psychologists, right? So I'd go to a psychologist, and I'd start to make a connection, and I'd reveal something about myself. And now this is all not on a conscious level. I'd reveal something about myself, and then I would feel distrust of the person, or I would get migraines. I would reveal something, and then next thing you knew, my head was like pounding. And so I'd say, oh God, I don't know what it is about this person, but I'm getting a migraine, and I don't want to be sick every time I go to therapy. So I ended up I'd go to a therapist for, I don't know how long. I don't know how long. I'd go for a while, and then I'd be like, oh, and then I'd go to another therapist, then I'd go to another therapist. And what was so funny is, I realized it one day, and I just realized it in saying this about, what I'm talking about, everybody sees me differently and has experienced me differently. And I remember at one point I had an aha moment in therapy, outside of therapy, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm manifesting headaches on some deep level to avoid letting this person truly know me, to truly know me and know everything about me. Because a relationship between a psychologist and a psychiatrist and patient is very vulnerable. It's very exposing, especially when you don't really know what it is that you're exposing. Like the psychologist and the psychiatrist are definitely trained in, you know, when you give them certain information, they know what to do with it. And if you don't know, you're kind of like just saying these things. But then on a deep level, I realized, oh, I'm showing too much of myself, so I need to hide. So I would manifest a headache or whatever, and then I'd switch to to another therapist. But that just reminded me of how I just described myself. Like, I'm still doing that, and that's something for me to think about, because if all these people are seeing me in a different way, am I hiding still? Is there something more to be discovered about me and the totality of who I am on an authentic level? I don't know, there might be. That's for me to think about, but maybe that's food for thought for you too. Because I believe that stories shared with others, there's something in it for them, for the person that's listening. And there's also something for the storyteller. There's always a message that we're uncovering. And I think, you know, perhaps that's a message I just got. You know, like, oh, is there something else that's here for me? Okay. Oh, I got my card. Okay, my card that I got is illumination. Okay? Illumination. So I'll show it to you again. Illumination number 37. This is an East card. It's the yellow on the sacred wheel. Okay. As darkness comes, the mirrors of your spirit reflect different images. It is the time when the world changes and your being begins to glow. Reflect on the new vision that has been living on the perimeter of your consciousness. An idea is stalking you and awaits your invitation, a place within you to begin life. The totality of your creativity comes after you have begun your work on the sacred painting of your life. It is then that the muses of inspiration surround you like eagles and cheer you on to illumination. Take responsibility for your work and your life, and then illumination will follow. Wow. Take responsibility for your work and your life, and then illumination will follow. I think the part that really gets me, though, is the first line. As darkness comes, the mirrors of your spirit reflect different images. That's a fascinating concept. The mirrors of your spirit reflect different images. So a lot has been coming up this week for me and my, it's a Sisterhood of the Shields. And so I have other shamanic friends, friends who are shamans. And it's not only them, but we've mostly been talking about mirrors, like how in one of Lynn's books, she was talking about her teachers were guiding her, and they were talking about how we are all, each one of us, we're all just mirrors of each other, but we're also seeking the reflection in others, but we are the reflection. So others reflect back to us pieces of ourselves, either that we are aware of or not aware of. So this is what's coming to me. And, take it if you believe it. Don't, if it doesn't resonate, don't. But, let me give you an example. There's a person that I work with. He's new to the company. I'm new to the company. I'm a travel therapist, and he's working there. And today, I've noticed the last couple of days, he's gotten very antsy. He came in very happy and excited to do his job, and now he's like very disillusioned, I would say. Very disillusioned, very sad. But it's coming out as anger. This is what happens, sadness under anger is sadness, right? So he had a belief about what the job was going to be. So today he comes to me. I don't know why he comes to me. I'm not really sure why. I don't really work directly with him, but maybe I look safe. I have no idea. But he came to me after an incident, and he just said, wow. And he was so mad. He was raging. Oh, these people, and I can't believe, and you know, they just want to make their job easier, so they're going to put everybody on a modified diet so that they can feed them easier. And so I heard what he was saying. I felt the intensity of what he was saying. And I thought, oh, what is my role here? What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing in this moment? Right? So this is how I do the work. So what am I supposed to do? And I was like, obviously, I want to hold space for this man. He's raging. It doesn't matter if it's righteous anger or not. Like, I just wanted to hold space for him so he felt heard. Even though some of what he said might not be 100% true. It might be, it might not be. That could be true. Maybe people are looking to change people's diets. And even if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you know, I look at people swallowing, and so I look at what they're eating for textures, and I might say, hey, she's not really safe for regular consistencies like everybody eats. It's too hard for her. She's at risk for choking. So I modify the diet. I can downgrade a diet and change it and make it easier for them to eat so they get the nutrition. So he's venting to me about my job, basically. But I don't think he realized that he was saying, like, he was implicating me in that too. And I didn't take offense, but I kind of was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And so I listened to him, and I just said, oh man, you know, damn, that sucks. Like, you know, let me know if I can do anything. Let me know if I can do anything for you. But I didn't get into the, like, oh, hey, that's what I do. Like, that's what I do. I'm one of those people who's looking at this not to make my job easier so I could see the other side of it. And there wasn't the time or the place for me to point that out to him. I held space for him. But the mirror part for me was I carry that same righteous indignation. Like, I can't believe this. How could they do this? Why would they treat somebody this way? How could you let a patient blah, 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 blah? And in that moment, I realized, like, oh, wow. And he was stomping around very intensely, and he was carrying this, like, you could feel the rage on him. And I thought, whoa, that's been me so many times, and I've worked on it for years, and I'm so much better, but I'm not perfect. I still catch myself being righteous. like I'm here to help the patients, and you're just, you know, this silly stuff, you know, the stuff that I think is so, I'm only seeing my perspective in that moment. I'm not seeing the other. And you have to be able to see the other, you know? So anyways, the whole point of that story was how we're all mirrors of each other. So in that moment, I saw the mirror, and I saw the piece that I am working on. And I saw in that moment, one, how much progress I've made, because I'm like, whoa, geez, like, I know I've done that, but it's so much less than it used to be. It used to be really intense. So I'm like really proud of myself. And then the other part was just a reminder to hold compassion, not only for this man that was raging and upset, but also for myself. Like, we're only human, and we're trying to do our best, and we're trying to take care of people, and we're trying to make sure we're doing it for the right reasons, and we're helping out, and we're being mindful of it. And that was my piece. That was my mirror today. And there probably were many other mirror moments in my day, but that one stuck out the most profoundly to me because it really resonated. I was like, oh my God, this guy is me. This guy is me. And he's really a nice guy. He just, I don't know, he was very, very, there were a lot of things that led up to it. But anyways, it's the whole point. We're all mirror images, right? So there's pieces. So when we look at the other and go, oh my God, I can't stand him. He always, not him. I can't stand this person because they always blah, blah, blah. And it's like, sometimes you have to look and see, is there a piece there for you? Is there something being reflected back to you? Whether you carry it the same way or differently, Is there something there for you? Because it would have been very easy for me to say today to myself, oh wow, whoa, this guy's like what's wrong with him? He's raging, like he doesn't even understand this. And I think it's like that's a tendency for us to, most people, we just kind of, throw it all in one box and go, oh wow, whoa, he's like a hot mess and I don't know anything about that. But the truth is, many times those situations where we're like looking at the other and saying, oh gosh, not me, there might be something there. Even if it's small, even if it's the tiniest thing, even if it's a reflection of your growth, even if it's a reflection of your growth. Like I said, I could look at it and go, wow, okay, without judging it, but like, oh boy, I've come far. I've come far. That was me. I see me. When I look at him, I'm like, whoa, okay. Wow, I was intense, man. But in the moment, back then, or even occasionally sometimes now, in that moment, I might not see it until after it's done. And then I go, oh, geez, my God, I did it again. Dang it. What the hell? I thought I was making so much progress. Anyways, so as darkness comes, so the darkness could be seeing it in the other, the mirrors of your spirit reflect different images. It reflected my growth. It reflected what I still need to work on. It reflected the need for compassion for the other, for this person, the compassion for myself. Yeah. And I'm sure there's so much more that I haven't reflected on, and I just record it. I'm just recording this now. So if we could just remember to look at everything with love and compassion. It's not easy. I mean, it's not, I'm not going to lie. I spend so much time trying to be compassionate, and I fail. I try to look at things with love, and I fail in the moment sometimes. And then when I think about it later, because I always reflect, when I think about it later, I'm just like, okay, I didn't do so well that time. But next time, what am I going to do different? Like, what can I do differently? Because I really believe love is all there is. I really, truly believe love is all there is. Anything can heal with love. I mean, things can be healed with love. Love is all there is. That's the vibration. Love is the vibration. And I really believe that. And it doesn't matter to me if anybody else believes it. I don't give a crap if anybody else believes it. That is my truth, and I feel that is true. And so I try to live my life with that. So when I don't come at someone with compassion or love, and I just want to judge and point the finger, I kind of try to reflect on it later and say, okay, remember this compassion for everybody. I'm not just a protector of patients or people who can't defend themselves or can't speak up for themselves. I am here for everyone. I'm not here just for only certain people deserve my love or my compassion. No, that's not how I feel. So for me, it's always about reflecting on that and seeing, even in the other that I'm maybe not being so compassionate about, what's in their life, like what's happening for them. I guess it's always about the mirror. And that's my message for today. Perhaps you can look at situations that you're in or instances that happen in your life. Pick one and just look for the mirror. Seriously, just look for what is in this for me. It might be your growth. It might be all the progress you made. It might be what you still need to work on. And it might be, am I really looking at this with love and compassion? I'm in a path of heart. I really am. Constantly trying to connect my head with my heart and working from my heart space, because I do believe love can heal all wounds. Love can. Whatever that means, that's what I feel. And when I say I feel, my heart gets activated. So I know it's my truth, and that's part of the path that I'm walking. And I challenge you to find a mirror moment in your life and see what it shows you. You can journal it. You can just talk about it to yourself. You can reflect on it. And you'd be surprised. That all of those things you've been pointing out in others or for yourself, oh, I can't, or I don't, or, you know, I always fail at this. Maybe you're actually making more progress than you think. Maybe you actually are a completely changed person from when you started doing the work on yourself and started healing yourself and looking at all your wounding and your emotional trauma. Maybe you're actually so much better than what you were, without judgment. Just, you're a more healed version of who you really are at the soul level. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. So I will leave you. I will say thank you so much for being here, for being present, for listening, and, you know, until next time, you know, many blessings.